In this video, we are going to be discussing what exactly is asset management. What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Afzal Hussain and I post a weekly video helping you break into banking, finance, business and consulting careers. Now, if you aren't already, make sure you follow me over on Instagram because I'm going to be using it a lot more going forward to help you. And that's going to come through a number of ways, such as Instagram Live, allowing you to submit questions, doing voting polls, and also doing a few competitions and giveaways. So if you aren't already, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Now, if you've seen any of my previous videos or if this channel has been of benefit for you or you found it useful, one last request I have is to give this video a thumbs up. If you do that, it's going to help my content reach more and more young people all over the world, and so it will allow this channel to have a greater impact, and I can only do that with your support. So do consider giving this channel a subscribe and a thumbs up to this video. Before I start, I want to say a big thank you to Mogul News for sponsoring this video. Mogul News handpicks stories from some of the world's leading newspapers such as the Financial Times, The Economist, Bloomberg and The Telegraph, all in one place, so it's easier for you to digest. And you can get 20% off all their packages by using the link in the video description below. In this video, we are going to be discussing what exactly is asset management. So as I'm sure many of you will be aware, within an investment bank, you have the front office and the back office. The front office areas are the revenue generating areas, the areas where the hours tend to be longer, and the areas where you can expect to have more client interaction. And in this front office part of an investment bank, you've got divisions such as markets, so sales and trading. You've got the investment banking division, you've got private wealth management, and you've got asset management. Out of all of the front office divisions, we are going to be focusing on asset management. What is it? What are the roles within it? And what can you expect if you start as a first-year analyst within asset management? Now, it's important to note that example that I just gave is asset management within an investment bank. There are also pure play asset managers, so asset management firms who are just solely asset management firms and they are not tied to an investment bank, so they don't have different divisions. It's just the asset management firm. Simply put, when someone says to you asset management within the world of banking and finance, it simply means managing large sums of money, investing large sums of money on behalf of your clients in order to get a return over the long run. So it's taking money, investing it into the financial markets and expecting a positive return over the long run. Okay, so you're probably wondering, who are the clients of the asset management division at an investment bank, or who are the clients of an asset manager? So asset management clients are large institutions who have lots of money. These could be pension funds, they could be insurance companies, sovereign wealth funds and charities. Now, for those of you that don't know what a pension fund is, it's basically, let's take a company for example, Apple. Apple has lots of employees, hundreds, thousands of employees, and each month when these employees receive a salary, they are going to put a bit of that salary away into something called a pension pot. So Apple's pension pot. Now, each month they put money into that pot, and so that pot naturally grows, right? Now, the job of that pot is to, when these employees retire, they need money to live off, and so they're going to draw down money from that pension pot. Now, each month they give money into the pot and it gets bigger. However, things like inflation, currency fluctuations, they can impact the size of this pot, and so it needs to be invested into the financial markets in order to grow even more. So when these employees retire in 30, 40, 50 years, that pot is big enough to give them all a salary to draw down in retirement. And so that's basically what a pension fund is, or a pension scheme is. And so each company, every company you can think of, whether it's Canon, Apple, Facebook, all of these companies will have a pension scheme where their employees put money in. The pension scheme has lots of money, and then it gives that money to an asset manager like a PIMCO or a BlackRock or a JP Morgan Asset Management, and these companies or these asset managers are responsible for managing that money and investing it in the financial markets to get the returns that that pension fund or that pension scheme is seeking over a number of years. So that's the pension scheme clients. In addition to pension schemes or pension funds, The clients of asset management firms include insurance companies who also have a lot of money. So let's say you've got a phone contract, and so you pay a monthly fee for your insurance on your phone or for your car. That's a lot of money going to these insurance companies, so they have a build-up of capital, and that capital needs to be invested to mitigate any risk. So if an insurance company has to pay out insurance to all of its clients in a catastrophe, for example, or in a big negative event, so if everyone's phone broke and they needed insurance, that insurance company will need to be able to pay that insurance for those individuals, and so it needs to invest the money to kind of mitigate risk and make sure it has enough money in case all those insurance contracts came into play. And then you've got sovereign wealth funds and charities. So sovereign wealth funds are basically large pools of money owned by governments, and then charities might have large pools of money lying around because they don't know what to do with it at present, or they don't have, at present it's not the best time to invest that money into the charity's causes, and so a lot of that money might be sitting idle. So rather than it sitting idle, they would rather invest it in the financial markets through an asset manager. So those are the clients of an asset manager. Now, what are the specific roles within asset management? So broadly speaking, within asset management there are three key areas that the roles can slide into. So the first of which is distribution, the second of which is investment, and the third of which is support. Now in the distribution channel, this is where all the salespeople are, the marketing and events people are, the relationship managers are. So anything to do with sales and marketing and events, that fits into the distribution channel. And then you've got the investment channel. Now this is where the portfolio managers are, this is where the traders are, and this is where the research analysts are. These guys are responsible for coming up with the ideas and the ways to invest into the financial markets. So the salespeople will bring in the money from the client and build those relationships. They would give the money to the investment teams, and they would be responsible for investing it in the markets and getting returns for their clients. And then you've got the support functions. So teams such as compliance, legal, HR, finance, all of these which tend to be considered more back office as opposed to client facing and front office, but they all work together in order to ensure that the client gets what they are after. If you would like me to go into detail on each of these roles within distribution, within investment, and within the support functions, leave a comment below and give this video a thumbs up. If we can get 500 likes, I'll do that video where I'll go into detail on each of these roles, so make sure you give it a thumbs up. So those are the three main channels of roles within asset management. So if you're applying for an asset management internship, be sure to specify if you think you're more suited for an investment role or a support role or a distribution role, because the last thing you want is to be very interpersonal and a good salesperson, but they put you in one of the investment teams, which is something that you're not after. So make sure you specify that in your CV and your cover letter. We've got the clients, they've got the money, and then the salespeople bring in the money, and that money goes to the investment teams who invest it in the financial markets. But what do these investment professionals actually invest the money in? What does that even mean? So this is where this concept or this term called asset classes comes into the picture. Now an asset class is basically a segment of the financial markets where you can invest your money. Now there are five key asset classes that asset management firms invest in, and these are fixed income, equities, alternatives, multi-asset, and quant. So fixed income, equities, alternatives, multi-asset, and quant. If you want me to do a video on each of these, going into depth on what they are, how they operate, how they work, what are the pros and cons of each of them, leave a comment below and I will add it to the list. Now for this video, all you need to know, these are the 5 options that you can invest in. Now as with the name multi-asset, that means you can invest across the different asset classes. But broadly speaking, you know, earlier I mentioned the investment teams. So you've got the traders, the research analysts, and the portfolio managers. These guys will all be split. So there'll be portfolio managers, traders, and research analysts who primarily and solely focus on fixed income. There'll be the same for equities, there'll be the same for alternatives, multi-asset, and quant. Now it's important to understand that each asset class It's like a different flavor of ice cream or a different candy in a candy store. Each one might taste different, or in our case, has a different risk profile. So some are more riskier than others, some are more easy to access in the financial markets than others, some are cheaper than others. So whenever you hear the term asset class or asset classes, think of the different segments of the financial markets that you can invest your money into. And that brings me on to the next part of asset management, which is the regions. We've spoken about how the investment professionals, the portfolio managers, traders, and research analysts kind of operate in the asset classes. So there are portfolio managers, traders, and research analysts within fixed income, equities, alternatives, quant, and multi-asset. But now, how are the salespeople or the distribution channels split up? And this tends to be by region. So you would have a EMEA sales team. So EMEA, EMEA, stands for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Now you would have a UK institutional sales team. You would have a France sales team, an Italy sales team, a Benelux sales team, a Nordics sales team. You would have a US focused sales team, an Asia sales team. So the salespeople are split by region because their clients will be from different regions. So any pension schemes in the UK or any insurance companies in the UK, they would be liaising with the UK sales team, and then that money would be invested into the asset classes that they're interested in, and then the respective investment professionals within those asset classes will handle and manage and invest that money. If you've got any questions, or if I haven't explained anything clearly, leave them in the comments below and I will respond to your comment as soon as possible. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, which is very important, is the work-life balance. So within asset management, you can expect to do not as long hours as the investment banking division, who are known to do anywhere between 16 to 20-hour shifts at worst. However, in asset management, if you're in the distribution channel, your hours can be anywhere between 10 to 12 hours when you start out as an analyst. In the investment channel, they tend to be longer, so anywhere between 12 to 14 hours. And in the support functions, you can expect to do anywhere between 9 and 11 hours. Throughout the world of banking and finance, when you're more investment focused, when you are focused less on sales, the hours tend to be longer. However, similar to students during exam season, your revision hours tend to spike and increase. The world of work is similar. So when you are working on deals or client work that's very important or urgent, your hours in the office will naturally increase. And in summer, like now, the hours would be shorter because clients are on holiday or there's naturally just less work. So it tends to be a bit quieter. And last but not least, bonuses. I know many of you are going to comment, what are the bonuses like, or what's the pay like in asset management compared to the other front office divisions? Because you're not working as long hours as the investment banking division, they are naturally going to get the largest bonuses. However, if you want to find out a bit more about the salaries you can expect as a first year analyst or a graduate joining, make sure you check out this video because it has a lot more details on that. Skip to, I think it's 5 minutes or so, because I did kind of give a lot of background information, but do check out that video and you can find out a bit more about that there. Two last things before we wrap up. The first of which is my university tour. So every year when the academic year starts, I tour. So last year I toured the UK, going to different universities regardless of their ranking within the league tables and talking to them about everything to do with securing insight weeks, internships and grad schemes at the best investment banks in the world, the best consulting firms, professional service firms. So it's literally where I travel the UK and talk to university students and societies and help them help themselves, really. If you're interested in being part of my university tour 2019-2020, drop an email to info@afsalhussein.com and put the subject university tour, and I'll hopefully be seeing you at your university in September onwards. So if you're interested, do drop me an email. Secondly, there's no point knowing everything about asset management if your commercial awareness isn't up to scratch. This brings me on to the sponsor of this video, which is Mogul News. Mogul News gives you the best stories from the world's leading publishers in one place, including the FT, The Economist, Bloomberg, The Times, and many others. It's basically the Netflix of news. Their briefings get you up to speed each morning with the most important stories of the day. Perspectives on their app let you see all sides of the story, and collections help you dig deeper on important topics ranging from artificial intelligence in the workplace to the decline of Deutsche Bank. The team behind it have worked at amazing places ranging from Amazon to Bain and Credit Suisse. And they're giving you 20% off all their packages, so be sure to click the link in the video description below. Once again, I want to say a big thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you haven't already, do consider subscribing to the channel. If you are subscribed, make sure you turn on the bell so you get notified when I post a video, and give this video a thumbs up. If you'd like me to do an in-depth video on the different roles within asset management, let's get this video to 500 likes and then I'll create that. So thank you, and I will see you next week. Peace.